I'm good. How are you, KP? I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hello, hello. Can you hear that, Chris? All right. Sorry, guys, if there was no sound. But like I said, it's me and Rob tonight. John's not here. It was meant to be us three, but yeah, me and Rob. And I was just saying to Rob, what good year for City. What next? What do you want this year from City? I mean,
You
you got
know,
people saying you want the treble again. You got people saying what is it to retain the Champions League? What's the
I as a fan, because I've been through a dozen managers. So I'm club first and manager second. Despite
yeah?
that, I don't like Pep. That's not a matter. But you still, it's club. What does the club want? I reckon the World Club Cup should be a priority.
I think so. Yeah.
It's still not. It's still in its infancy, but it's still something that. Hang on, you've actually played everyone, throw the best team in the world at me and I'm going to beat you all.
Yeah.
You know what that's like as a Man United supporter. I want to experience that as well.
Yeah. Well, I
Uh,
believe we won it the year after, and I believe Mark Bosnich was playing for Man United, and we
he was
played
in goal
Palme.
there.
Yeah, we played Palmeiras, and a
Yeah,
young Ronaldinho was running around for them, and the world got to see him, and then the rest was history, really, about that. So, and like I said, United won the double after, so they did come back strong with some big signings. I think we got Veron that year,
yeah,
something like that. So, a few things to say about. So that's where we step into it. City have obviously lost Gundogan. He's gone to
Gundogan's gone
Bas-
to Barcelona.
Barcelona, and I mean that's he. Not only was he captain, but I was saying it to John. Real big game player, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah.
Real big game player. He proved that, and as a captain, and we've put it in the title. Mahrez is. Everyone is saying it's done. He's going to Saudi for about 40 million, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't want him to go if I was a City fan, to
I
be honest.
I I don't know what's in Pep's mind because to me, Mahrez, I'd take Mahrez over Bernardo Silva. But Bernardo Silva is still iffy as is Kyle Walker.
Well, apparently he's going too. To touch on
Yeah,
that, Kyle Walker, yeah. So
yeah. But I like Mahrez. He puts the team first, whereas a couple of the other players not so much.
yeah,
It's a team game. As a coach and as a player, I always said ball back of the net. Don't care who, don't care how.
yeah, yeah. Well, I remember when he obviously had a real great year when he won the league with Leicester, but he was a lot more one dimensional. He would cut in on his left. It was still hard to stop, a la like Ayan Robin, but at City he really developed into having this right foot that you didn't think he had,
Yeah.
and it just made him a lot better player, really. And mate, even though he's a City player, I'd have him in a heartbeat. Mahrez, I don't.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, 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 yeah. Even I think he's got another 3 years in him at least
yeah. So I
of
mean,
high quality. Yep.
so Gundogan gone, Mahrez potentially gone, and the only one we know that they've brought in, as we're going to talk about, is Gvardiol, and he's a good player, but is he even a starter for City in your opinion? Like, is he?
Well, there's also clouds over Laporte selling him,
Yeah, but he wasn't a
and
starter either.
Emerick Laporte is slower than Guardiola. He is
Yeah,
shorter, and I think and I still rate Emerick Laporte. I mean,
Yeah, I like him.
um, he's solid. I wouldn't want to let him go. But Guardiola's 21, and
He's young,
I
yeah.
mean,
He had a
he
good World
did
Cup,
just
didn't he?
he had a great World Cup, but then so did the two central defenders for Morocco,
Yeah,
Saiss
yeah.
and see. Speaking of Morocco, on that Ziyech, I think he's still underrated.
I agree. I agree. Chelsea don't want him though, and apparently he's
I
trying
don't
to go
get
to
it.
Saudi as well. It's I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. So yeah, I mean they got they brought Kovacic in, but
Yep.
Does Kovacic replace Gundogan? I don't think so. Bit of a
He
different player,
replaced.
I think.
I think he replaces 60% of him. It's a different player because
Yeah.
remember Gundogan also scored twice.
Yeah, against
Not in
us, FA
last
Cup final.
season. No, no, no. Season before we were 2-0 down with 15 minutes to go.
Yeah, yeah,
We
he's
were losing the league.
well. There was a year. I don't know if it was not like obviously not last year because that was Haaland, but either the year before or the year before that, he was leading goal scorer for City. So he scored goals as well, and Kovacic just doesn't bring that. So
No, no, he doesn't. And
I, I don't
I
know.
think Mahrez can. I
Yeah,
reckon
yeah, oh yeah,
Mahrez.
definitely.
I'd seriously talk to Mahrez about putting him in midfield.
Yeah, well, like you said, I mean, there's question marks over Bernardo Silva. Well, he is a good player, but I agree with you. There is question marks over him, and yeah, Foden. Listen, Pep didn't fancy him at the end. With all the hype that the English media and that give him, Pep did not fancy him at the end, and that was clear because he put Grealish in, who, like you said, puts the team first. And if that's one thing
Yeah.
about Pep, like him or hate him, he likes players that work for the team. And he was putting Grealish in, and I mean that paid off for him because Grealish ended up having a good year. So
I, I personally think that Pep ignored all of my text messages and phone calls, but I I personally think Haaland may have said something to Pep and said, I want Grealish and I want Mahrez
yeah,
because they're
yeah.
more team players.
Well, apparently when he was at Dortmund, he loved Sancho. That's at United. Like he loved him because he looked for him. He looked for him. He looked for him.
See, I still rate Sancho. You don't have that instinct
Yeah, I
and that
agree.
performance and those results if you're not a class player. I think Ten Hag will get more out of him.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
really do.
I think he will too. So yeah,
The, the the
yeah, I agree.
The Dutch coaches will focus on the youngsters and their abilities, but also start nurturing them. So, and I think Ten Hag's identified a couple of youngsters already
Yeah, well,
that he
we'll
wants
talk
to.
about that when we talk about United. Yeah, we'll talk about that because I watched them the other day against Arsenal, and there was some impressive like games from a few of the
Yeah,
youngsters, which was good to see. But I agree, Ten Hag. If there's one thing about him, he maybe Veghorst, you could argue, but he hasn't really got a transfer wrong yet. He's brought in
yeah,
Martinez, who's done really well. He brought Malacia in at left back, who was a second left back really, but he did well when he had to come in. He's done well with all his signings, I think. So
yeah, yeah. No, I agree.
he knows what he knows
Yeah,
what he wants.
I mean, we're also Man City also looking for some youngsters. De Jong is on the is been talked about
Well, apparently
in
he's talked
midfield.
about from everyone. In both Manchester teams want him apparently, and is he going to leave though when Barcelona owe him that they owe him $17 million or something or more? Like I get why he's acting like that because he's like, well, why should I leave? I always say it's not the player's fault that he got given that contract. It's
Yeah.
so why should he walk out the door when they owe him that much money? It's crazy.
I still think from a legal standpoint, even if he leaves, they can still chase it legally
Yeah, okay.
anyway.
Yeah, okay.
But it would make it a little bit harder.
Yeah, yeah, I get what you mean. I get what you're
Yeah,
saying. Yeah, well,
yeah,
listen, I think if he goes anywhere, I think earlier on it was looking like he'd go to United because of Ten Hag and that, but I think if De Jong goes anywhere, he goes to City. I agree with that. I actually think he goes City. So it's
Yeah,
I mean that'll definitely. I mean that's yeah. If
I know some.
Rodri, De Bruyne, and De Jong in your midfield, you're laughing.
Yeah, yeah. I think people are trying to tempt Alvarez away, saying, "Oh, you can be our number one striker. Don't play second fiddle."
You need those
That's something
players though,
else.
don't you? Like even like we were saying before, when when I'm a United fan. When United were winning everything, we had back then. You played primarily two up front, but we had four. We had Andy Cole, Dwight York, Teddy Sheringham, Solskjaer, Diego Forlan was in there at one stage. Like we had, you need more than one striker. You at least need two or three. So he
Yeah,
still scored 25 goals, didn't he, Alvarez? I mean,
yeah. For the season, I mean, the thing
yeah,
is
all
60
up.
games, 60
Exactly.
games, right?
Exactly.
Plus, they get pulled out for to play for their country.
Exactly.
Bloody hell!
I mean, even that keeper that came in, he played in the FA Cup. He did well. That youngster for City. What
Yeah,
was his
yeah,
name? Get his
yeah.
name now. But I mean, he played well. So, I mean, for me personally, it's looking like City are favourites
Ortega,
again. Yeah, that's right. So it's
Ortega.
looking like they're favourites again to me. But things can change. I don't know about Liverpool yet. It's hard to gauge them, but they.
Yeah,
I just don't know. I don't know if the signings they've made are the correct ones, but time will tell. The one I'm real interested about is Chelsea. Like they're gonna have no Europe. They've actually got a manager, now that's trying to clear house, bring in players he wants. I think they're gonna be a bit. They're gonna be tough.
yeah. It's how quickly. I mean, the good thing about Pochettino is he's already been coached. He's already coached in the Premier League, so I
Yeah,
think he'll adjust quicker than most coaches.
and he's coached in London too. He lived in London.
Yeah,
It's not like
yeah, yeah. He can open
So
up his Harrods account again.
yeah, exactly. But
Oof.
yeah, so I mean, like I said, for me, City are favourites at the moment. I mean, they have to be. You can't really say much else when you have such a good year. It's inevitable you're going to be favourites again. But
Yeah,
like,
I think so.
yeah, they have to be. They have to be. But we touch on. We've spoke about it a bit. Me and John, Arsenal. So they finished second, obviously, and they've brought in Declan Rice and Kai Havertz. And me and you spoke about it a bit before. I mean, I like the Rice signing. But I said this to John on here, like 100 million. Is he that much better than what they had in Partey? I don't actually think he is for
Yeah,
that much money. So
yeah, I don't think so either. But isn't Granit Xhaka leaving?
he's gone. He went to Leverkusen.
Yeah, so he's gone. So they
Leverkusen.
need
They need
someone,
someone. They need someone.
which is fine because I know Declan Rice will stay on the pitch longer and won't get
Yeah.
sent off as many times.
Oh, listen, he's a good player and he's younger. He's got room to develop even to get even better. But 105 million, jeez.
Yeah, and this is the thing. There's bargains to be had out there. I'd look at some of the. I mean, what you do is you go to a World Cup and look at the second string nations
Yeah.
who have got players that. Because I know Man City, for example, looking at Hakimi as well.
Yeah. Well, apparently United we're going for Amrabat.
Yeah,
Ten
that's
Hag
that,
had him at Ajax, and apparently we're going for him. So
that's what I'm talking about. There's quality there,
yeah.
at a bargain price rather than having to pay 100 million. I mean, I still think you could have found two players for that price
Yeah, I agree. Well, that's
because
back-to-back transfer windows and English players gone for over 100 million, isn't it?
yeah,
Grealish and now Rice.
that's insane.
So
And then he made Grealish.
Ivan says you'll never walk alone, so we know who he's going for. And the big man says go Spurs. So yeah, I mean like that's a lot of money. Like that's big money for a centre midfielder. Like I mean, when you break it down, how much did Man City get Haaland for? 60 million, wasn't it?
Yeah,
And he scored 60 goals. So, like, but to me, that's worth way more. But I don't know. It's crazy the money like that's that's going around at the moment, which can touch us onto the big topic that I put in the headline. Is there a chance Mbappe comes to the Premier League? Today we heard that Al Halil have offered 260 million for him, which is just
That's
it's
staggering.
ridiculous, isn't it?
That is staggering.
Eh,
Yeah, 259 million pounds.
Well, I said this to you earlier. So in the early 2000s, Chelsea obviously inflated the market. It happened again with
Yeah,
Man City 2010-ish. Is that
yeah.
happening again now because of the Saudi League, do you think? Are they just inflating the market?
And this is what happens. It's not sustainable.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are inflating it, but these players, I mean, do you want to get paid 300 grand a week and sit on the bench, or do you want to play the game? How much do you want to play the game?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the thing. So, I mean, I
I
know
mean,
everyone's
s-
different, but and towards the end of your career, you could say, you know what, I'm happy to play second string. Like, was it Mark Schwarzer did it,
at
Leicester and
Chelsea, yeah.
Chelsea,
Yeah,
and won
yeah.
two Premier Leagues?
Yeah,
I
that's true.
get
But
that
I
for
mean, he
him.
was 40, he was 41. That's the difference.
I get that for him, absolutely. And he actually
Like,
still worked hard.
yeah, of course.
But, N'Golo Conte now's gone to Saudi Arabia as well.
I mean, he's only 32. He's not like he's, you know, it's not that old, 32.
But isn't Steven Gerrard's coaching in Saudi Arabia,
Gerard
isn't he?
is coaching there, and he took Henderson. Henderson's gone to where he is.
That's
I
right,
mean,
Jordan Henderson.
apparently Henderson's getting $7 million a week or something like that. You know what I mean? Like that's it's crazy.
But why would you want to? You've already got enough money anyway. Is
Yeah,
it
I know,
greed? Do you
I
want
agree.
more money? Is it?
I
I
agree.
don't know.
Yeah, listen, it's like you said. I understand Ronaldo and even Messi. They're
Yeah,
the twilights. Two of the best players that we've seen in our generation going. They've won everything. I understand them going there, but Ruben Neves is 25. That's
yeah.
it's crazy when you actually think
Al,
about it. Like,
Al Nasser have offered Sadio Mane £650,000 a week.
see, and then
It just goes.
that's crazy.
It just goes on and on and on.
Well, that's the question that I'll put to you next, though. So let's say Mbappe turns around and goes there for a year.
Yep.
How does he even have a foot back into Europe? Because no one will be able to afford him.
Yeah, and this gets back to, I think, professional integrity. I remember the days when Inter Milan was struggling, and the first one to put his hand up for a 40% pay cut was Christian Vieri,
There you go. There you go.
and he
And that
started
would have
that.
been what around 2000 ish, bit after
Uh,
maybe.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, round about then, right in the middle of his World Cup
yeah,
dream run. But he started that, and everyone followed suit.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
that saved the club. Perth Glory in administration now, for
yeah,
example,
yeah.
that saved
Exactly.
the
I
club.
saw that yesterday.
So
Yeah,
these players, I mean, Messi did it at Barca. He could have just said, you know what,
yeah. I
suspend
know.
my salary for a year, and I'll
Yeah,
stay. But he didn't.
yeah.
He was getting 50 million a year, for heaven's
I
sake.
know. I know. I know.
Where's all
It's
that money
crazy.
gone?
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. It's crazy, isn't it?
Ah,
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. That if he, I said this to you earlier. I'll have a lot more respect for him if he turns around now and says, "No, I'm staying in Europe." Obviously, he's still going to be a millionaire, and I mean, he's going to have all the money in the world anyway. But I'll respect him a lot if he turns that down because I said that to you from just a human perspective to see that money in front of you and turn that down is he's actually going for the game that he loves. I think so. Listen, I hope he does. I want him to stay in Europe because you can't have one of the best players for the next
yeah.
10 years in Saudi league, regardless of what
No,
they think they're doing.
and look, the danger of that is, what if they change their minds and say, you know what, we like tennis now,
Exactly. Exactly.
so they
Exactly.
just pull their investment.
Yep. See, and what I
So
don't get is they
yeah,
obviously own a club in the Premier League now, Saudi as a state, because they own Newcastle.
hmm
So it's weird. I don't know how to gauge them, and I mean they're spending big too. Like they've bought Tonali, they're
Yeah.
obviously going to start spending. So it's it's real hard to gauge what the South. It's a lot more prevalent than when the Chinese league did this 5 or 6 years ago. They've actually got some big names there now, like you said, Ronaldo, Kante. That's the one I'm shocked about is the keeper from Chelsea, Mendy. Like a couple of years ago, he got voted Champions League Keeper of the Year, and now he's
Yeah.
playing in the Saudi League. It's crazy.
Yeah. I don't get it. Even Benzema, I mean,
Yeah, Benzema. I mean,
he was still firing, so
he's the
I don't
current
know.
Ballon d'Or winner, isn't he? Isn't
Yep.
he the current? So there you go. That's crazy. That is crazy when you think about it. The current Ballon d'Or winners in Saudi. Ivan Jonathan reckons Hakimi to City deal done with a question mark. Well, Rob said before they're looking at him, definitely looking at him. I haven't heard that it's a done deal or anything, but
No, I haven't heard it's a done deal, but
if Walker
this
goes,
is a
I reckon
Kyle
they'll get him.
Walker thing.
Yeah, that's what I think.
And we need a left fullback. We haven't got a left fullback.
See, that's what I was thinking. Do you think he plays Gvardiol there? Because he played there a bit for Croatia.
You know what? If
And
things
then
don't
maybe
turn out, you've got.
he keeps Akanji and Stones in centre back.
I'm just thinking he might keep because Akanji and Stone, especially Akanji, he's improved out of sight
Oh,
and he's
definitely.
quick.
Yeah.
He is quick. So we might be playing 3-4-3
Yeah.
with someone next to Rodri who can drop back in defence like Stones because he wants to
Yeah.
push him up into midfield.
Yeah, he does that a bit with him. He likes that roaming sort of player there. But
Yeah,
I
so
agree with that, Jonathan. I agree with Rob. If Walker goes, he'll go. They'll get Hakimi. I think so.
I think they'll just up the price and just get him.
Yeah. What it begs a question. I know we're primarily we're talking about Premier League on this, but it begs a question as to where PSG are going to be after this. If they're losing Mbappe, Messi's gone. Their manager, they've changed manager.
Yep. Look, even Ramos didn't last, I think.
Yeah, Ramos didn't last.
He's gone now to US, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think so. Yep. I think he's with
Along with
Messi and he's
along with Biscuits,
yeah,
Sergio Busquets.
yeah.
Um, I don't know what Neymar's doing.
Apparently he's not happy either. So
no, and his value is not high at the moment
no way.
because of his attitude.
Yeah, if they had sold him 2 years ago, they would have made a mint. Now they're not getting anything like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting to see with them. But the thing I was thinking about Mbappe, could we see Mbappe because the relationship is fractured now with the Qataris? Could he end up in the Premier League for a year on loan, and then goes somewhere, goes to Real Madrid for free? You know where he wants.
Yeah,
Is that
because he wants to play for Real Madrid. He wants to play for
he
Real
does.
Madrid.
Of course, he does.
And so does Haaland, I think. So
I think so.
bloody hell, that would be one hell of a forward line.
Oh, what would it be for a year if we could have Manchester United versus Man City, Haaland versus Mbappe? What a Manchester derby that would be.
I'm trying to think that this is not Man City bias, but I still rate Haaland above Kylian Mbappe.
Yeah, if it depends what I wanted. If I wanted an out and out goal scorer, I'll go for Haaland. But if I was in the market and I really needed a winger, then that's how I would look at it. It depends.
And I'd say the same thing. I think Haaland and Mbappe can play in the same starting 11. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. What's Jonathan said? If Mendy was still at City, would he be the one going to replace Walker? Well, he was a left back, wasn't he?
Yeah, Mendy was a left back, a good one too.
Yeah, I don't know. He obviously had personal issues, but I think he got off. I don't think he got. He's got his contract void with City, but I think a couple of days ago he got given not guilty in his.
Yeah, I believe so.
In his rape case and all that stuff, but obviously City did the right thing and did what they had to do. He was good, yeah. I listened through his career and the sort of like Mason
Yeah.
Greenwood at Man United. His career's been thrown.
Yeah, but City keep having these players. We've had Joey Barton and Adam Johnson.
Yeah, yeah, Johnson. Oh, that's right. Yeah, true. Very true. Very true.
Oh, let's buy a criminal.
Yeah.
That'll
Well,
intimidate the opposition.
the thing I do like that about Guardiola, he's a bit like Sir Alex. If he doesn't like your integrity as a person, I think you're done. And I think Ten Hag's a bit like that too. It's even if you're the best player, if he thinks you're a bad person, you're done.
Yeah,
And I like that about those managers, which is good.
yeah,
It's
and
better. I like that. So
no, it's as long as you're consistent with it.
yeah, that's right.
I remember the conversation pitch side between Haaland and Thierry Henry
Yeah,
recently, and Haaland says, "What can I improve?" And Thierry Henry, no hesitation to improve your right foot, so you're two-sided.
I saw it at the end of the final. Yeah,
I
yeah,
love
yeah.
that about Henry
Yeah.
because um, at his peak,
Oh,
one of the best finishers in the world.
he was. He was amazing. Yeah, no, it was good. It was a good interview when he told him
Yeah,
after like that. That was that. It was good. But
yeah,
so touching on the Champions League final, obviously you guys came out of it on top. United have signed the United have signed the losing goalkeeper, and from what everyone's saying, he's meant to be, you know, Ten Hag had him at Ajax.
yep.
Is meant to be really good. Is that a good signing by United?
Look, I think it's a good signing, especially because they unceremoniously and harshly got rid of De Gea.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
um, see, Onana had a bit more of an education the last 12 months than he did at Ajax. Ajax, he he didn't he wasn't challenged enough. Ajax were that
Yeah, yeah,
good
yeah, yeah. Under
with
Ten Hag, they were unbeatable, weren't they? I mean, they were so dominant.
Tadic and Anthony and Yuri and
Yeah,
Timber now who's gone to
they're
Arsenal.
losing players, haven't they?
But
They
this
finished third last year or something.
this happens with Ajax, and this is
Yeah, it
why Ten
does.
Hag
It
left.
does. Yeah,
If you
absolutely.
want to hang on to the players, I've got a chance to win the Champions League. No, we're going to sell them. We keep
That's
the
right.
money coming in.
Well, he made a
And it's like,
semi-final, didn't he?
yeah,
Yeah, and then they sold De Jong, Van der Beek, De Ligt.
yeah.
So his team gets torn apart. But
But it does get torn apart every 2 years, every 3 years. And it's like, just when we're about to get there, you take all my players.
yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah,
um, but, they've got one of the most successful junior setups in the world.
it's famed as the best, isn't it? As we
And
know,
look,
it's
Ajax players are everywhere,
oh, absolutely.
you know?
I,
Um, so,
it's
yeah.
it's crazy. It's crazy where they are. That's right. There's so many of them.
Luis Suarez played there.
Yep, yep.
Zlatan played there. Marco
Zlatan
van
played
Basten,
there. Like,
the
yeah,
De
there's
Boer
so many.
twins, um,
Oh, look at the team
Reisiger
that
and
won the
Davids.
champions. Look at the team that won the Champions League, like you just said.
Yeah,
Davids, Van der Sar, Kluivert, Seedorf. They were all in that team. I think
yes, they were.
that's with Van Gaal as manager, it was crazy
And
team. So
yeah, super team. And of course, they went everywhere. And
exactly.
um, you need these because Torino have a good junior setup as well.
Yeah, well, I think
And they,
I saw a thing about in England. I don't think it's no secret. I think that the most players developed from any club in England is United, but the
yep.
gap to the next team, it was a huge number, is ridiculous. Whereas I would imagine in Holland it's the same. It'll be Ajax, and then it'd be a massive gap, to the next
Yeah, it
team.
is. Look, the closest gap would probably be in Germany.
Yeah, probably there might be a lot from Munich, Dortmund. Like a few of them would have I think a lot in Germany.
There always seems to be in any season you pick two or three 17 and 18-year-olds in
Yeah,
every team
yeah.
who've had at least 5 to 10 games on that season.
Well, you look at what's his name, who we were talking about before. We're saying he's not good at the moment, but he was 17 at Leverkusen, Havertz, and he was tearing it.
Yep.
He's playing attacking midfield, and he was took the league by storm. You know, Götze did it at Dortmund.
Yep.
You know, they
Even a young Mkhitaryan and
Mkhitaryan,
Aubameyang.
Mats
Dortmund.
Hummels was excellent young there as well. So
And I keep picking on Dortmund.
Lewandowski did really well there, young too.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
yeah, no, I think you're spot on with that. Ivan reckons Bernardo is Pep's favourite.
Bernardo Silva's Pep's favourite.
That's what he reckons.
Big call. Big call.
And he reckons Gunners mid-table this season, he reckons.
Bernardo Silva got married.
Yeah.
Pep didn't get an invite.
There you go, Ivan. Maybe it's not reciprocated. Maybe Pep likes him, he doesn't love it.
João Cancelo was there.
Really? See, what's happening with him? Is he a City player again at the moment? He is.
Yeah, officially, yes. See,
can't he mend his relationship and there's your left back?
I'm hoping. I'm so hoping because João Cancelo is a top quality player, and I reckon he can move him in midfield as well.
He's a very good player. Like, you would think they could both mend that relationship, and there's your left back. You don't need to spend anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously he's going to see what Man City won and think in his head, oh, maybe I can do things differently. Maybe Pep thinks I can do this, you know, and build some bridges. I don't know.
I am hoping because he is a top quality player. I'm still wondering how Portugal are going to go in Euro 2024 because to me they've got the most complete squad.
Well, I said that to you about the World Cup. I said when you actually look at their team, I said break it all down. They got Dalot at Man United now playing consistently right back, Diaz centre back, Cancelo, Bruno Fernandes, Ruben Neves, Rafael Leao, Ramos is coming of age as a striker. Ronaldo's obviously there to give whatever, you know. Their team is Bernardo Silva, like it's, and that's just off the top of my head.
Yeah, so, I know. I know.
Yeah, they do. They have a real good team. So, and they, by all accounts, are going to have who's managing them now. It's a different coach. So, is it Martinez now? I think Martinez got him now.
Roberto Martinez.
So
I watched some history. The bugger was coaching Wigan when they beat Man City in the FA Cup.
He was, and then they got relegated, but won the FA Cup. Because I remember everyone was saying at the time, do you take the relegation in the FA Cup or do you rather lose the FA Cup final and stay up?
You're speaking to a finance guy. You don't settle for relegation.
I know. I see that point, but then you look at it as a Wigan fan. Are you ever going to win a trophy again? You think, do you just take that cup because you're not going to see one again?
Yes and no. I mean, look at Leicester.
I know what you mean.
They weren't supposed to win the league.
Exactly.
And all of a sudden, they've won the league and the FA Cup.
Yep, very true. Chris reckons Ange will have glory with Spurs.
You know, Chris, he might. He just might.
So that's the question we're going to ask. Oh, continue. Keep going. Say what you're saying.
I'd seriously look at the odds of Tottenham finishing top four and have a serious consideration of the bet.
Yeah,
I really would.
There you go. Well, we're going to put that question to Rob. Rob he's played the game. He's coached. He knows a lot about Ange because he's a coach in Australia, obviously. So how do you realistically see Ange doing it? Me and John have talked him up a bit and said that I've said, listen, if he can, say, jag a League Cup or an FA Cup or something, like, that's amazing for him. But could he, I think he could get top 6. And if he can go better, like you're saying, get top 4, that's amazing for him. But,
so, correct me, are Tottenham in Europe at all this year?
They are not, I don't think, no.
Oh, look.
So
that's a big, big plus.
Yeah, I agree. Them and Chelsea, no Europe. No Europe.
That's a big plus, And with both new coaches, a bit like Ten Hag.
Yeah.
Man United, he was in Europe, but I think he had some time.
But look how well he did in them. He did, ended up finishing 3rd. He won the League Cup. He made the FA Cup final. and he made
Yeah,
the semi-final of the Europa, I think. So,
yeah, yeah. So
so
look,
I
I
mean,
people will underestimate Ange
oh, they
in with
will.
their in their peril because I think he knows how to handle the big egos.
Yeah,
I think he knows enough of the game because he's coached in this is country number 4,
yeah, I think so. Yeah. So what? Australia, Japan,
Scotland, and
Scotland, and England now. Yeah, yeah.
as well as for his country.
And he's coached
So
not just the first team Australia. He's coached the Joeys as well. So he's
yeah, yeah.
he's
I looked at his record. He won under 20s as well.
didn't did he make the final or did he win he won something?
He no, he won the under 20s Asian Cup, I think. I
Okay,
had a
because I
look at the
think
list.
I remember my ex teammate, Nick Crosley was playing for. I think it was the Joeys under him, and I remember because always remember him telling me the story that John Obi Mikel scored 2 goals against Australia and knocked us out of the World Cup. I think. I think that
Yeah,
was the
right.
Joeys though. I think that was the 17s, the under 17s.
Yeah.
So
So
he's got a good record. He's won
look,
everywhere he's been.
and he's won a tournament, so he's also a tournament coach.
Yeah,
And to me, as long as you make the final, I think you're a tournament coach. You don't have to win
yeah, I
it
agree.
personally.
So, so does that mean you're saying Southgate's a tournament coach?
Oh crap.
You caught yourself there, didn't you? Ivan
Yeah,
says,
no,
by the way,
I'll
Bayern versus City tomorrow.
say again.
Ivan says, by the way, Bayern versus City tomorrow. They must be their friendly tomorrow.
Yeah,
Yep.
because City are doing a tour. They played Yokohama, but they just put in youngsters as well a lot.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing Pep does well during these pre-season things. He does rotate players
Yeah, yeah,
around.
yeah. Ten Hag's been doing that too, which is really good.
Yeah, that's it's very much a Dutch way as well because you just
Yeah.
you say to the youngsters, you know what? Here's your chance.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
right.
go out there and see, show us what you got. And
Reborn
then
says hello. Reborn, how you doing?
Reeves.
He's there, so he must have heard. He must have thought we were talking about Liverpool. He rocked up.
Reeves, I'm just wondering if you know what one of these looks like.
They do, don't they? Now they never used
Um,
to.
Never
But they
used
do.
to, but
They do.
yeah, this one's shiny still. See,
He only
still
knows
shiny.
what one looks like. You got to live it up. You got to live it up when they win. It's
I'm taking it. It was 40 years in the making.
but so with Reeves coming here, like where we touched on Tottenham, like you said, they might be a roughie for top four, and that. Where do you see Liverpool? What are these signing? Where do you see? I mean, they're getting Diaz back as well, which I think is big for them. He missed all of last year,
Yeah, I do like Diaz.
and no Champions League.
Yeah, see, there's another one. McAllister is one of those
That's a good
quiet
signing.
achievers.
Yeah, good signing.
Jealous, totally jealous of that signing.
Yeah, I wanted you. I mean, we got Mount, and I would have rather we got McAllister. It was half the
Yeah,
price.
yeah. Well, based on the price, to me, no contest.
Yeah, of course. Listen, I
Mason
always say
Mount
back your manager. I say back your manager. If Ten Hag wanted him, so be it. I'll back it. That's he obviously sees something there, but
Reeves.
that's why I was
I'll
getting the
say
good bucks.
I'll say this one thing to Reeves. If Klopp was hired instead of Pep, Man City would have won more.
I agree. I said that to you. I think they would have won the Champions League earlier.
Yep,
Yeah, I think they would
yep.
have. Yeah, they. Listen, Klopp's achievements with Liverpool, considering that Man City were there and as strong as they were at the time, you don't hear me saying it often for Liverpool, but it's his achievements are next level. Like
He won the
it's
he won the league and he won the European
that's
Cup,
right.
Champions
That's
League
right.
before Pep did. So
Yep.
I think he's a very astute coach.
Oh yeah,
It's
Klopp's
always
very
a
good.
challenge whether these players listen to the coach. I've got what has he got? Dominic. Oh, that's right. Soboslai is on as well.
Yeah,
I
so
think he will.
see, I don't know heaps about him. I've seen him a bit, and I'm not going to sit here and say, listen, I've watched him every week, but by all accounts, he's a very, very good footballer. So, but does that
Also,
replace Fabinho? He's not a Fabinho Henderson type player, is he? And that's the midfielders he's got rid of. But he's brought
yeah,
Szoboszlai in. It's a different player, isn't it?
yeah, but young Elliott's, what's his name? Is it Harvey
Harvey
Elliott?
Elliott, yeah, he's good. Harvey Elliott.
I like him. Fabinho going to Saudi Arabia as well, is he? Jeez.
Yeah, he's gone. Fabinho gone. Henderson gone.
Milner gone.
Milner's gone to Brighton on 1 year. So Reborn is saying that we need a defensive midfielder. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Is he going to make McAllister play that deep lying player? I'm not sure.
I could see McAllister easily converting into that role.
That's what I thought. That's what I think is.
He hasn't shown to me that he's an out and out regular goal scorer.
No, I don't think he is. He seems like a. Listen, he's not like your all action like Kante, but he seems like a
Yeah,
box to box midfielder. He can go
yeah.
both ways. Like that's what I think of him. And I mean, he's. Brighton? What are they going? If they lose Casido as well, they've lost McAllister. That Colwell from the defence has gone back to Chelsea. They're going to need to sign
Yeah.
players. I mean,
They're
making
gonna
Europe is
be
not always a good thing for a club like that, is it?
no look, and if they lose these quality players, they're going to be in trouble.
Exactly. So
So
Casido has gone. Reborn said, "See,
yeah,
that's coming from England." Reborn is telling us that we haven't heard anything of that yet. That we've heard that they
where,
keep offering, they keep offering. So if they've lost
where's he gone,
McAllister and
Reed?
I think
Has
it's
he gone
Chelsea.
to Chelsea?
So if they've lost McAllister and Casido and their centre backs gone back to Chelsea, that's they're gonna have to make signings, man. Yeah,
And they
Chelsea.
lost
Reborn saying
and they lost Trossard last year. What are they going to do? Just give the ball to
Trossard.
Matoma on the left and just say, "Here,
Yeah,
dribble, try and score, man."
yeah, yeah. There you go. And the thing is, people are gonna work him out because you always get
Yeah,
the second year tells you a lot about a player in the
yeah, it
top leagues.
does.
I think because it comes to a point where you haven't only played against this person once or twice. You've played against him a
And
few more times, and
support, and I don't think he's staying, is he? Is Darwin Núñez is not staying
I'm not sure what's happening with him. I haven't heard
because
if he's leaving Liverpool.
I think his second year might actually.
I think he's going to do good.
Yeah, so do I. Actually, I'm thinking 15, 20 goals.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's going to do good. Yeah, yeah, I think he's going to do good. But so talking about strikers, another one that I've only seen him play for his country is the striker that Man United apparently it's done deal is this Rasmus Højlund from Denmark from Atalanta. I saw him the other week for Denmark. He scored a goal in the international break, but
Yep.
apparently there's huge hype about this kid. So another one that Ten Hag obviously he wants. So I'm going to back it. But like I said, I'm not going to sit here and say I know so much about him.
I. How old is he?
He's only 20, I think. 20, 21. He's young.
Okay.
Big boy, 6'3", I think. Quick,
Oh,
but
he won't get pushed around in the Premier League,
no,
guaranteed.
no, no. I think he's a solid. Listen, I watched him the other day in the international break. He scored for Denmark when they won 1-0. I can't remember who they were playing. And
Yeah, right.
but that's one game. But he's already an international at 20. That's got to be something.
So he's looking for him probably the aerial presence, runners off him like Anthony,
Rashford
because Sebastian Aller from Ajax, who went to
was the same.
Dortmund,
Yeah,
is a very similar player.
he had him there. And
So
he did wonders with him at Ajax. Haller.
yeah,
After he couldn't buy a goal for David Moyes, and then he went to Ajax and just he went.
and he had cancer of a sort,
Yeah, he did. He did. Yeah, he's come
but
through that. So
he's come through that, which is really good. Look, I do think he's a quality player. He does need quality midfielders behind him,
yeah, yeah.
and
Reborn
distance had it.
says we are after another Benfica player, Florentino Luis. I've heard about that for Liverpool, but yeah, they're just Klopp's. Listen, the thing that I think has I don't necessarily know if it's Klopp or if it's the club. I think they should have been making a couple of these signings like last year, the year before, trying to start replacing Henderson, Milner, but they waited to do it all in one summer, which I think is a mistake.
Yeah, yeah.
But like I said, I don't know. Is that the manager's fault? Is that because Liverpool were up for sale 6 months ago? Now they're not up for sale. You know, you don't know what the ins and outs of that are. So
And look, sometimes these managers, that's what frustrates them. They say, look, I want player X.
yeah,
And someone doesn't like player X. You think, well, hang on, I know what's best for the team. That's the
yeah,
jigsaw that fits. And
yeah. I
by
know
the
what you
way, he
mean.
might be 10 million more or even 10 million less. And
Re-
the club says, no, I want to go for a higher profile player. I want to
yeah,
sell more shirts.
yeah. Well, look at Newcastle. They got that Alexander Isaac. It was a bit more low profile than other, big money still, but he did excellent for them.
Yeah, and I think he's getting better.
Yeah, I think he is too.
I just
And
don't
he
think
go say what you're saying.
I just don't think Newcastle are going to hold on to Eddie Howe. They're going to
Nah, yeah, I don't think so either. I think it's going to be more of a City thing, like when like Keegan,
Yep,
when the money started going in, and then they got rid of him,
yep,
bought Mancini, and it'll be like that. I think.
yep.
Reborn says, "I want Barella. It won't happen, but I want him at Anfield. He's class." Well, Rob, the Italian stallion, can tell you. What does he think of Barella?
Um,
Oh, he's good. I like Barella. He's a good player too.
look, he is a good player. The problem with where he's playing at the moment is he sometimes with Italian football, it's like, no, I want you to do this, even though they're capable of these
Yeah,
players much. They restrict them sometimes too much and don't give them
yeah,
the freedom because they over concentrate on structure.
yeah. Very
Because I
tactical
think,
league. Very tactical
yeah, look,
league,
even
City.
isn't Enrico Chiesa is linked with the Premier League as well.
Yeah, see, I don't know, man. There's hype about him, but you know what? Every time I've watched him, I don't like. If you said to me he's a left winger, like, he's gonna go to United, you can have Rashford or Chiesa. I'll take Rashford. That's me personally. I just, I don't know, but maybe it's because I haven't seen enough of him. But listen, he's obviously good, but the Italian league isn't at the moment. You can tell by how the teams are doing. It's not as strong. It was so surprising that Inter and AC Milan did so well in the Champions League, considering you know.
Italy had three finalists
I know
in
it's
all the
crazy.
European
I know.
competitions.
Yep, I know.
I mean,
Another
look
one
at
is Sangare. Reborn says United were in for him last year from PSV. You're talking about that he's the midfielder.
yeah.
Ivan says get rid of Nunes. LOL. He reckons get rid of him. Now I like Nunes, man. When he was
I,
going to Liverpool, I wanted United to get him, and I'm not going to sit here and clap back on that. Like, I think he'll come good.
and it gets back to what you said earlier, KP, about you look at Nunes or any other player, new player, and it's one season's not enough.
That's right.
Don't judge
Yeah, I
a
agree.
player on one season.
I agree.
Um,
The thing I say from a
Anthony,
striker's point of view is don't. He gets into the position, so he's got that goal
yeah,
scorer's instinct. He just has to sort out his technical side. If he can sort out how to put the ball in the net like a Shearer or something, or like a Haaland, he'll score 30 goals.
yeah,
That's
easy, easy,
so because he knows how to be.
easy.
He's in the right position. Well, that's the hard part.
It is because I played up front a couple of times, well, a few times. The coach said, "Oh, I'll go for a run up front,"
Yeah,
and I wasn't in the right place at the right time, like
yeah, I
ever.
know. It's true. It's the positioning is. They always say, oh, like they used to say it about like Aguero, Cavani, like, oh, how's he here? How's he there? It's like it's an instinct.
It is an
It's
instinct
like
which I never.
yeah, well, it's true though. But then that's the same going back. Like there's an instinct to defending. There's an instinct to that. It's that that's
And
that's the beauty of the game.
look, and I'm glad you said that because I, from a defense point of view, I always found myself in the right place at the right time.
Yeah,
But I couldn't do that from an attacking point of view. It's really
yeah, it's
weird.
different. Yeah, I know what you mean. 100%. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
So
See, well, it's because there's obviously different types of defenders, different types of strikers. Like, there's strikers that like when a defender is up close against them. There's strikers that like when there's
Yeah,
room, in between them. There's same with defenders. So it's just different instincts. And the fact that he gets so many chances, Nunes, like Chris is saying there, killer instinct.
yeah.
It's, yeah, like even like we say,
This,
like I think we've spoke about it before. Like there's some players that score so many goals that don't even have that killer instinct. Like maybe like
yeah,
Messi is he's just that good. He can take the piss out of everyone and score 50 goals. But then there's players like Gerd Muller. He was Haaland. They've just got that instinct to score.
yeah, yeah. When you score 68 goals for your country in 62 games, man,
Yeah,
you know where to be.
of course, of
You
course.
know where to be.
Ivan says, Rob, what's on that cup? I don't know if he means what's on it or what's in it.
Where
I don't know. Did he mean the cup you were drinking or I'm not sure.
this this is just Coca-Cola,
He's going to say Coca-Cola. I thought he was going to say prune juice.
zero sugar.
Zero sugar. There you go.
But I've got this to keep me company. Just thought I'd let everybody know.
See, Ivan he's obviously a Liverpool fan, so listen, do you think Klopp, we can finish a bit on that. Do you think Klopp takes the Europa League as seriously as he's taken the Champions League? Last time he was in it, he did, but he lost the final, I think, to Sevilla when in his first year at Liverpool. Does he take it as serious, you think?
I think he's motivated to give something back to the fans and will try and win something. And it's pretty much uh, a bit of a watching game during the season where you think, hang on, am I close to winning the league? Am I close to winning the FA Cup? I don't think he cares about the League Cup. I don't think many
Yeah,
coaches
I
do
don't think he
care
does.
about that. No offense to Man United last year, because I
I think
think,
Ten Hag only cared about it because a club like Man United went 5 years without winning a trophy. He just knew
yeah,
I've got to get one over the line.
yeah, and he helped make a statement. So I
Yeah,
totally get that.
that's right.
Um, but Klopp will balance the situation, and I think he will go for Europa League. I reckon if he won the Europa League, he'd settle for not winning the championship.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree. We've got a couple questions for you, Rob. So I agree with this. This isn't a question. This is a statement, and we can touch on them a bit. Reborn says Aston Villa are the ones to watch this season, and I listen. Emery is a real good manager, and he's brought in Pau Torres. He brought in Diaby, I think, from Leverkusen, the winger. I agree. I really think they're. I mean, he got them from relegation zone last year to finishing sixth. Imagine him with a whole season with better players now.
One coach of the year, given what he had to start with.
Oh, I
I mean,
agree.
that's an astronomical performance.
Yeah, I agree. So he's really good, and he got Tielemans on a free as well. Reborn's
See,
right. We
there's
spoke
another
about that last
signing
week.
that I would have jumped at.
Yeah, I would have went for that for United too. I thought we should have went for that.
I would have thought Liverpool would have gone for him as well.
Yeah, well, apparently they wanted him a year ago. That, but so I mean, he's brought in some good players. He's a real good manager. I totally agree with that, Reeves. The other question is, how's the Women's World Cup, Rob? Is the standard good?
Is the standard good? No.
Standard in comparable. Are you comparing it to EPL or are you comparing it to?
No, no. I've
I'm just
coached
asking. I'm
elite.
asking Chris what he's saying. Yeah, like what are you
Okay,
comparing? Yeah,
my comparison is because I've coached at national level women's.
yeah,
Uh, when I've got 17-year-olds that can play two sides, 17-year-old girls that can play two sides that are hard in the tackle, hard in the air, and can deliver a pass for 30 yards with either foot. If they're playing for their goddamn country, they should be able to do the same.
yeah. I
No matter
agree.
what the gender, by the way.
Yeah, yeah. Chris is saying, oh, just to comparing to a normal women's league. Well, there, Rob just gave you an insight there because he's coached at that women's game at that level. Ivan says we are going to get the EPL if Nunes is performing. He goes, but I really hate him. Not a Nunes fan at all. He goes,
Oh,
Liverpool
okay.
are going to win the league if he performs.
I was a Nunes fan last season. He was real
Yeah.
helpful.
Philippines won against New
New
Zealand. Is
Zealand,
that correct?
yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Ivan just said.
and yeah, I've watched all, I've just about watched every game of the Women's World Cup.
You
The
went to one
only
yesterday,
te-
didn't you? You went to Brazil, Panama, didn't you?
the only teams that to me played class football that you for your representing your country have been Spain, Germany, and Brazil.
Yep. Okay.
They're playing 1-2 touch. They're moving quick. Uh, the biggest letdown I've seen. The goalkeepers generally are better, though not today. There were two awful mistakes. Um, but the biggest letdown I've seen, and this starts at bloody 12, 13 years old, is movement off the ball.
Yeah. That's even with yeah with in house like here in Australia. Like how many times growing up, kids don't know how to move off the ball, and it's just as important as what you're doing with the ball.
You're
It's
representing your country, man. As soon as I have a simple formula that I always, when I was coaching, I always tell the kids um, and seniors, but kids more because they drum it into them is, option left, option right, option ahead of you, and
yeah,
option behind
option
you.
behind you. Yeah.
Always
Yeah,
move
yeah.
around. It may be distorted,
But
but
it should
move
always be
around
there. Yeah.
always there. So the person on the ball has always got four options,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
always. And the
Ivan
amount of
says, what about USA? I think he was saying in regards to how you said, nah, not that good.
no, no,
There you go.
they've got to get over their own egos. Um, England were awful, and these
Yep.
two, USA and England, were ranked
They're
really
favourites,
high.
aren't they? Yeah. Reborn says, I have a friend whose daughter is in the under 17s for England. She's injured at the moment, unfortunately, but she's really one to watch. There you go. And Chris
Make
says, what
sure
about
she's
Australia?
skin-footed, Reeves.
Yeah, there you go, Reeves. Chris says, what about Australia?
You know, this may sound strange, but it's a bit like Ronaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo in that. As long as Sam Kerr is out of the team will play better.
Yeah, because they all look to her, don't they?
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
I mean, they won without her, so
I mean, Japan played all right. They scored five, but look. It boils down to it's a team game.
yeah, of course. Of course.
This is why Germany destroyed Brazil in the 2014 World Cup
Yeah.
because it was a team game.
Well, when you got your players going out and holding a Neymar shirt like he'd been shot when he just got injured in a tackle, what do you expect is going to happen? They were acting like they were having a funeral for him. No wonder why they got funked.
But they missed who they missed most, Thiago Silva in
Yeah,
defence.
big time. Big time. All right, well, we touched on a few things. Hopefully next week we'll have the inside of me, you, and John. John will be back, and maybe we get you back on next week or in the coming weeks. We'll definitely get you on. She is 2-footed. Reborn says her dad's Brazilian, Samba blood. There you go. That's good. That is very good.
Reeves, I give you a little thing because I did this as a coach. I made the players warm up 3-4 minutes at the start of training. What I did was look, warm up, have a bit of a chat, juggle the ball between yourselves, but it was a tennis ball.
Yeah. Get a bit of a,
And
a bit more skill.
by the time they see this big ball, mate, they don't miss it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Do you think when they're growing up, like they have the size 3s, the size 4s, you think it's good
Yeah,
to keep the kids with the smaller balls?
I do. I mean, I was training and playing for a feeder club to Ajax when I was a junior. We played on dirt, we played on grass, trained. Sorry, not played, trained. We played on bitumen to teach us not to fall and teach us our
Yeah,
balance.
keep balance because
We
you don't want to
trained
hit the
four
ground.
days a week, and we played with a smaller ball.
Yeah, there you go. Well, they reckon Don Bradman used to sit there hitting a ping golf ball against the wall with a stick. So what does that tell you?
Hey, haven't you seen that footage, KP?
Of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, so
It's
and that's when back
it's
how long ago? So
yeah, it's true, man. I mean, but this is my biggest thing about the Women's World Cup, more so than the men's, but the men's, they're still, you know what? It's about practice.
yeah,
It's
of
got nothing
course.
got nothing to do with friggin' gender. It's practice.
Yeah, of course. 100%. 100%. Oh
There's
well.
a Let
No,
me
go.
finish
Something
off
you
with
saying?
this. Sorry, let me finish off with this. There's a little Italian midfielder. She's 16.
Yep.
She was running rings around these players.
There you go.
Her tight ball control was incredible.
But that's good. But to say it, I mean, that's good. That means she's technically good, and
Yep,
so that's
and
good.
two-sided. So there you
Yeah,
go.
two-sided. Yeah. Well, that's all we got for this week, lads. Hopefully, we can get Rob back in the next couple of weeks or so. Once the season starts, we'll try and get Rob on definitely for round one or after the chat. I think the Charity Shield's on the 8th.
Yep.
The 8th. Yep. So around then, I think it's City Arsenal. So we may even
Um,
try and get a watch along happening for that. We'll see what we can do.
see, KP, do you know the rules on this? If you've won both,
Yep.
surely you should just be given the Charity Shield. Man United have been in that position.
Yeah, they never just gave it to us. They made us play someone.
I mean,
Nah, yeah, I
Liverpool have
know.
been in
I
that
think they give
position,
it.
I'm
It always
sure.
goes to second place on the ladder. That's what they end up doing. They end up playing second place on the ladder. So
Nah, we should just be given it. Sorry.
yeah, I would take it if I was United. Chris says it's good to see Dr. Laz. Ivan says she's my favourite Australian. Sam Kerr. There you go. Chris says awesome show. Ivan says well done, KP and Rob. But thanks everyone for rocking up. If you're
Thanks,
new to the
everyone.
channel, please like, share, subscribe. Any last thoughts, Rob?
I'm itching for the start of the season. It's just over 2 weeks, 12th
Yeah.
of August.
Yep.
I want these transfers done, and I'm just itching to start.
What
We want another treble.
the transfer window stays open till the
End of August,
first.
isn't it?
Is it the end of August?
I think
Yeah,
so.
31st. I think you're right. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yes, Chris. There will be a gaming show tomorrow. So anyone that wants to catch that, it'll be at 6:30, I think. So yeah, we'll see everyone there. Thanks for coming, guys. See you later.
Thanks, everyone.